Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm in my shop. Hoping everyone is keeping their distance. I know I am. I am limiting where I'm going, what I'm doing. I'm still on the project house. I'm working hard on that. But it's just me. So, as far as work, everything's shut down. Everything non-essential has been shut down where I'm at. So getting stuff is gonna get interesting. But today, on a lighter note, we're going to be talking about throw plates. And I don't like these ones. These ones come from the factory. Sure you can adjust them, sure they're magnetic, sure you can use them with whatever. But I made my own. Zero clearance. It's a little thicker. It's made out of plywood because plywood's a lot more stable than anything else. It won't move. And I wanted something zero clearance. I did it in my portable table saw and I'm still using it to this day. So I made two. One for my regular blade and then this one for my dado stack. As you can see on this, I had an issue. This one was a little warped. I tried to straighten this out. So I wet it, I put in clamps, and then all of a sudden she cracked. So I'm like, okay, so I made the crack a little bigger, put some glue in it, clamped it down to the table, let it sit for like a week. It's fine. It's for the dado stack, so I'm not really that concerned. So yeah, I will somewhat show you, I'll give you how I made this, and we'll kind of go around that. One thing to note, when you do make this is what, 3/8? Wow, this is 7/16. Say 1/2 inch. So I made this at a 1/2 inch. I do have the measurements as far as for the feet because you gotta make these little indents for all the feet and everything else. And you see that there's already a blade mark in this and not on this side because in order to fit it in, you actually have to cut on the miter saw a little bit to get it to fit in. And that's what it does. Right now it fits in. So I'm to the point at this to put my fence over top of it and raise her up without the riving knife because you got to cut that in after. So you got to take the riving knife out, raise this blade, and then measure out how far the riving knife's gonna come, and then cut it out, and then you're done. So a good way to do it, the start, is number one, you already have something to trace. So you trace this on whatever you're going to use, whether it's hardwood, whether it's plexiglass, whether it's plywood, doesn't matter. Long as something that's stable, that's not going to move on you, that you'd be able to get out at some point. And yeah, just cut it out and slowly get it to fit. And if you, by chance, cut these a little bit too deep, and this sits a little bit under, well, you've got these little screws that you can raise it back up. And if you really wanted to, you put a magnet on this end to keep it in. There's a whole bunch of different ways, different things to do with it. So if you want to start, so these little indents I cut, and I'll use my scale instead, hold on. So for anyone that does very fine intricate work, get yourself a soft scale. It takes a little bit of time to get used to reading it and converting it in your head, but once you get used to it, for fine intricate stuff, it works amazing. So these little cutouts, so the easiest way to do it is to take the back off the saw, go underneath with this fit in as best you can, you know, nice snug but not too snug, and go up from the backside and kind of trace out where these indents are. And then you take a straight cut router bit, and you just kind of sneak up on them. And the depth, according to this, you're just over 300 thou. So let's say almost 5/16. Yeah, 5/16, 310. Yeah, around 5/16 is what you'll be cutting these depths at. And then the only other thing to do is to, this little cutout right here is for the blade hub. When it raised the blade, the hub comes up with it. This is for the hub of the blade. And it's pretty much just fit it in, chisel a little bit, take it out, chisel a little bit more, take it out. And I did that with both of them. Oh wait, I did not do that with this one yet. So that's gonna be something I do later today. And that's pretty much it. So if you get to the point and you make it a little bit too low, you cut these a little bit too deep, you got screws there. You put the screws, you can pull them up, whatever. I usually keep this just under just a hair, just a little bit. And I mainly use it for getting nice cuts. Because face it, sometimes that saw blade just rips the crap out of stuff, and with this in it, it's nice, crisp cuts. If you don't have a track saw, which I do. So that's not much to it. It's a lot of fitting, intricate little work. But that's it. It's just, and if you want, you can cut a little hole so you can pull it up. Me, I either use the hole or I use the back, because the back has a indent. You just kind of pull it that way. So whatever floats your boat. So I'm about ready to raise this blade, make this good, cut for the riving knife. So let's do it. Okay, so what I told you before is that in order to get this to fit on with the blade in, you have to cut the backside a little bit in order for the blade to fit in. And I roughly know, well, I know it's about 1.5 inches from the edge. So right now, I am 1 13/16 inches. So the blade should safely come about 1/8 of an inch from the fence. I did this years ago where I just kind of guessed. And when I guessed, I ripped right into the fence. Thank God it was aluminum, but still did happen. And just to make a mental note, this is gonna be the first time that I fire up this saw. So, fingers crossed. Okay, so that's pretty much it. What I didn't show was putting in the slot for the riving knife. And all it is you just take your miter saw and you pull it back. Now mind you, keep a little bit at the end. I have about 3/4 of an inch on this end, just so that it doesn't come apart and start flopping around. And like I said, you can make a whole boatload of these. So one for straight, one for different degree angles. So maybe a 22, maybe a 45, one for a dado stack, maybe even one for a thin curve. That's fine. You can't use a riving knife then. But so just in comparison, I looked it up just to see how much throat plate would be, zero clearance. And it's like 40 US for one. I can make a whole boatload for all the scraps that I have in the pile. So save some cash, which everyone's doing right now, and make it for next to nothing. It's just your time. So hopefully everyone's safe. You like this, give you a thumbs up, subscribe, because there is more stuff. I am going to be making a sled for this table saw. I am going to be upgrading the fence at some point on this table saw. The bench behind me, I bought a twin turbo vise and it's gonna get installed, but before I do that I have to put an extension block on the vise, or on the bench. Plus I have a pile of oak that's sitting right there, you can't see. I'm gonna start maybe making some cabinet doors for my kitchen. Some of that oak's gonna become the chop for the vise and the extension. I have stuff for the car, but the car right now I can't get into the shop, so it's kind of pointless to really mention the car very much. There is gonna be a couple stuff for the car. I just haven't worked out when I can do it, because right now it's kind of poopy out. So, hope everyone enjoyed this. Hoping everyone's going to be safe and have lots of time to work in their shops. I am going to take this blade out and sharpen it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, hope everyone's doing good. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.